I take refuge. How can you say to my soul, flee like a bird to your mountain? For behold, the wicked bend the bow. They have fitted their arrow to the stream to shoot in the dark.
Hello and welcome to a new series of daily devotionals based on the Psalms that we're calling Songs for the Journey. Do you have different songs, albums or playlists that you go to depending on your mood? Today we will begin a series looking at the Psalms, the collection of biblical poems and songs that was both the prayer book and playlist of the people of the Old Testament. Over the series we will also touch on the metaphors of journey and landscape that often feature in the Psalms, and perhaps look at a few lyrics from our own time and culture. And alongside that, we will also be noting some of the life and work of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who famously referenced nature and landscape in his writings, sermons and speeches. One example of this is the iconic final address given by Dr. King in Memphis in 1968, the night before he was assassinated. It is apparent from the content of this speech he is very aware of the threat to his life. However, remarkably, his focus did not seem to be on the threat of danger or death. He seemed to be looking beyond that. Towards the end of the speech, he states, "We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will, and He's allowed me to go up to the mountain and I've looked over." I like mountains. For 13 and a half years I lived in the valleys of South Wales, where I was surrounded on all sides by hills and mountains, and I love where I live now and I love the landscape here, but I do miss that landscape. Beautiful, ancient, awe-inspiring and yet obviously dangerous places. Mountains seemed to be a motif that ran through some of Dr. King's compositions. Of course, as a Baptist minister, Dr. King would have been very familiar with the poetry, prayers and song lyrics of the Psalms, which often referenced mountains and landscape and nature as metaphors. And far from being just songs of praise, the Psalms, written over several centuries and often in times of great trouble and turmoil, also express deep anger and anguish. Poetry and songs today are still very much a vehicle for expressing that intensity of feeling. In their song Given Up by American rock band Linkin Park, we can hear these words: "I've given up, I'm sick of feeling. Is there nothing you can say? Take this all away. I'm suffocating." Well, people can feel that way. At our drop-in as part of what our church does on a Tuesday and Friday, I have spoken to people in the past few weeks who feel in that kind of place. And in the Psalms, we find cries of despair, doubt, fear and confusion, alongside words of hope, gratitude and faith. Sometimes there is a combination of several emotions in the same piece. Psalm 55 is an example of that. Towards the beginning of the psalm, the author writes, My heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death have fallen on me. Fear and trembling have beset me. Horror has overwhelmed me. I said, oh, that I had the wings of a dove. I would fly away and be at rest. I would flee far away and stay in the desert. I would hurry to my place of shelter, far from the tempest and storm. I am sure there are many people in our world right now that could echo those sentiments. Yet later in the psalm, the writer is stating with confidence, as for me, I call to God, and the Lord saves me. Evening, morning, and noon I cry out in distress, and he hears my voice. He rescues me unharmed from the battle waged against me. Real fear, real doubt, real confusion, real hope, real gratitude, and real faith in the same poem, in the same song, perhaps all experienced and written about on the same day. I wonder if those kind of mixed feelings and thoughts about life and God resonate with some of you. Perhaps you do have faith, but faith is not the only thing you have or experience. You also have doubt. You also feel distress or disappointment or even deep anger. I think one of the things the Psalms could teach us is that whatever we are thinking and feeling, we can express that to a God who knows, hears, understands, and may even do something about it. And that would be an encouraging thought. God bless us and help us all as we look through the Psalms. May we find encouragement and peace and hope for our situations there. Do join us over the coming days.
For the Lord is righteous. He loves righteous deeds. The upright shall behold